This is Two Chicks Talkin Flicks, where we review movies. Love them or hate them, someone's got to do it. So enjoy the show. Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm April.
And this is Two Chicks Talkin Flicks.
And anything else that gets in the mix.
We haven't done that for so long.
Right?
Forever.
Totally.
So, April,
Yes.
do you know what today marks?
I feel like it's a very important anniversary.
Yes. So it is 20 years. Wow. I know. Since Dirty Dancing Havana Nights
Came out.
Mm-hmm.
That means how old am I? I'm
40.
I was 22 when this movie came out.
Yeah. Yeah, I was 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember watching this with my friend Rhonda.
Ooh.
I feel like I watched it at her house, but it could have very well been at my house. Who knows?
I know I went and saw it by myself in the movie theater. I'm almost positive I was alone. Because I believe I would have seen it like a Friday afternoon day it came out. Because I know I went and saw it in the theater. If anybody was with me, I don't know. I don't remember. They weren't important apparently, but I know I was there. Mm-hmm. And then, as per usual, I bought it from Blockbuster in their previously viewed DVDs. 'Cause when it came out, I was upset with the movie because I thought it was going to be tied in with the original movie somehow. I didn't know it's not really a prequel, but it like happens before the events happen in the original movie. But it has really nothing to do with that movie.
Yeah.
And that is what I was kind of just a little sad about because I love anybody who listened to our episode of Dirty Dancing knows how much I love Dirty Dancing.
And I was okay with it. Like, for me, it's like, oh, okay, it's another coming of age story involving dancing.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of like roping it into this like umbrella.
Yeah.
Like, I thought of it like the Step Up movies. Like, they're all movies about dancing.
Yeah.
But they're all separate stories. So I was okay with it.
I wonder if they could have just called it Havana Nights. Like, not Dirty Dancing, just Havana Nights.
I think because Patrick Swayze was somehow involved, maybe that's why they threw in the Dirty Dancing.
And boy, was the dancing dirty.
Yes.
They were like, oh, hey, hold my beer on the first one. They're like, hold my beer.
And I feel they worked him in perfectly.
Yeah.
Perfectly. He's a dance instructor, you know?
You know, for some reason, when I saw it the first time, I didn't think he was in it, but that first scene that we see him, I forgot he was in it twice. And I was like, oh, he's in it more than once. Because I remember being disappointed the first time, like, I only got to see him one time.
Well, we both came into this with different expectations.
True.
You know, I still am a huge Diego Luna fan.
Yeah.
So for me, I never really cared for the original Dirty Dancing. You know? Like it was a movie I saw and I don't like sometimes you see movies and you just don't remember them. They're not memorable.
No.
That was for me, Dirty Dancing. And so then I was like, oh, Diego Luna, I'm going to watch it. You know, so for me, it was perfect.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I guess for those who have never seen it, let me just give you a summary. So basically, it's in the fall of 1958. We have Katie, her family moves to Cuba. Her dad got a job at Ford and he has moved up. And I guess they're processing cars in Cuba. Like that was new to me.
Have like the supervisor roles at the plant.
Yeah. And so they moved there her senior year and her parents were former ballroom dancers. And so she knows how to foxtrot. And actually there's like a funny scene where he was like, oh, where she wants Diego to teach her Javier to teach her how to dance like they do in Cuba. And he said, "Oh, you don't need to learn that. Learn the foxtrot." And she goes, "I know the foxtrot." Like, come on. Obviously, I know that. Pfft, idiot. Like, she just says it so like matter of fact, like, I already know the foxtrot. Like, why would I need to learn that? That's weird. Which I enjoyed. And yeah, she meets a group of kids that are all there, all well-off children. And they're kind of jerks.
I guess what we would have here as like corporate condos, they're just basically staying at this hotel, like this, resort permanently, I guess, right?
Yeah. And like they're in a suite. It's real nice.
It is super nice.
2 bedrooms and
a living room.
Yeah, very fancy. And they, again, like in Dirty Dancing, you can't associate with the help. And Javier's character gets in trouble because somebody else knocked over his drinks and he has to pay for it. And I was like, that seems weird. Real harsh. Like, they weren't complaining. So I don't understand why the guy got mad at him and yelled at him and made him pay for him. And then Katie was like, "No, it was totally my fault. Can I just pay for him?" And the guy's like, "I don't need your charity."
No. The worst part is the boss who's like, "You need to pay for it." He's like, "Oh, no, it's okay. Mistakes happen." It's like, what? So it's okay for her to make a mistake and not pay for it.
Yeah.
But me, who was completely blameless, has to pay for the mistake of someone else. That kind of made me mad.
Yeah, that is weird. Like, if that happened, I would be like, it's not your fault. They're jerks. I got it. No problem. Just get them more drinks. Like, that just seems crazy. But, this is in a real tumultuous time in Cuba before Castro
came into power.
Yeah. They were like, "Oh, it's going to be so much better when Castro's in power." I don't know why I laughed like that, but
yeah, it's sometimes you think things are bad, and you don't realize how much worse it could be. But in their defense, they are fighting for change. Unfortunately, the people they were backing did not have their best interests.
Yeah.
Because I'm always for fighting for your rights.
Yeah.
Definitely. But, you can't always trust the people on the top, even the ones you replace them with.
Yeah.
So.
Did you see the documentary about the guy in Russia?
The one that just got murdered recently?
Yeah.
No.
I heard it's really good.
Really? Yeah, no. I keep seeing these headlines and I'm just like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this.
Yeah, I heard about it all on the radio yesterday and I was like, that sounds really good.
Yeah, no.
I should have watched it.
I keep seeing all these headlines and I'm like, I'm just too busy for that.
For those of you who don't know, we're up to date.
Yeah.
Like, this is days before this is gonna drop. So we're like right in the same time span. Like our Tuesday is Wednesday, it's Wednesday. Our Wednesday is your Wednesday.
Yeah.
Right now. But it won't be when this comes out. It'll be your Tuesday.
So we're talking about stuff that happened last week.
Yeah.
Which should be, getting even more interesting and more details should be out. So yeah. I will have probably have looked into this already by now. Well, my plan was to do it on Sunday.
Yeah.
So
just know when you're listening to this episode, she's gone down a rabbit hole.
Yep. I finally know what's up.
Yeah.
Like I got all the deets.
So, but let's see here.
I thought you were going to say Balenciaga.
Why?
I love the word Balenciaga. Have you seen those AIs by the Harry Potter AIs with Balenciaga?
No.
Oh my gosh. So they're like generated and you see all these like Harry Potter, like people dressed in like these weird ass outfits and they're like walking and it's like something, Balenciaga. It's so bad. It's good. I love it.
Huh. No, I haven't seen that.
Oh my God. I'll show it to you in a bit. You guys should definitely look it up.
Balenciaga.
Not only do I love that word, I love I love their fashion. Would I wear it? Maybe 2% out of their stuff, out of their portfolio.
I saw this TikTok and this girl was talking about how she got this YSL bag for her mom because her mom loves them and really wanted this bag. And she said it was a camera bag. And I was like, oh, yeah? Like, that sounds like
I think
a bag
she meant the shape, the style.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Okay.
Just, to me, I had a very specific thing in mind when I heard that. So when I went to go look it up, I was like, oh, that sucks. That's not a good bag. And then I looked up other bags and I was like, I don't like any of these bags. Who are spending all this money on these stupid dumbass bags?
You know what? Sometimes I go and I look at these bags and I'm just like, no. And then I find one I actually like and I'm like, I can't afford that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, I have to see it in person, see how big it actually is.
Yeah.
Look at the inside pockets. Because, sometimes they just show you like the inside, but they don't like show you the real, like the depth, like the details. And then it's like, there's no point in me going out and looking at it in detail because I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah.
So
like, I love the bag I have. But I'm kind of over my green moment. I want something different. And so I went to go look at other bags that are like that. None of them, I didn't like any of them. I liked the style of it, but I don't like the color of it.
What is it? I'm really
such
interested.
a first world problem.
There's a few bags I'm looking at that I'm curious about. They're Steve Madden.
Ooh.
But I can't gauge the size.
Don't you hate that?
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure I could fit everything I need to fit in there, but I need to go see it in person. And they actually have a Steve Madden store out on 35, like in Keller. And obviously they have some like at Dillard's and Macy's and stuff. But I feel like I need to go to their actual store so I could see their whole collection.
Yeah.
And their pricing is pretty reasonable. But like, I don't want to go to Keller. That traffic is so bad.
Yeah, I went to a Michael Kors store one day just because it was next to me, and I was like, well, let me go check it out. I don't like any other stuff. Sorry, Michael Kors, but I didn't.
I like some of Michael Kors stuff. What I don't like is how branded it is.
Yeah.
Like,
That's how I feel about Louis Vuitton.
Like, I hate that, like, I just hate how much brand there is on it. I guess some people like, advertising the brand, but it's too much. It is too much.
Like, mine is a Fossil bag. I love the Fossil bag. But I haven't checked out Steve Madden. I had to check that out.
We should make a trip. Let's go Sunday. You have plans?
I don't think so.
Okay, let's go out there.
I'm supposed to record at some point with someone either this weekend or next weekend. I thought it was this weekend, but he hasn't gotten back to me. So, but yeah.
We could always go before or after. Yeah. We'll figure it out. Okay. Cool.
All right. So this movie.
Yes.
It has a Jonathan Jackson in it. For those of you who are soap fans, he was Lucky. I know him from Camp Nowhere. And a multitude of other things. But, yeah, Jonathan Jackson. And, like, I saw him by the pool, and he had his sunglasses on. I was like, is that Jonathan Jackson? I was like, oh, yeah, it is. I was like, wow, oh, yeah, he would have been the right age in 2004. He's, like, my age, but... let's see here. So we have a young January Jones, and she's a bitch.
Yeah.
She's like the mean girl for no reason at all. Was it her that was with the sister that got the guy in trouble?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Javier, well, first, Jonathan Jackson's character takes Katie out for the ball. They have like some kind of ball. And she wants to go to this nightclub because she is like, oh, Javier's going to be there. I want to go to this nightclub. And so he takes her, and for whatever reason, he gets it up in his mind that she owes him something, for taking her to this club. And so he locks the door and tries to have his way with her and like rips her dress, and she smacks the shit out of him. And I was like, yes, you go, girl. And she ends up running into Javier, and he takes her home. And he has a jacket on her, and he puts her
very gentlemanly.
Yes, and he puts her little strap back up, and such a gentleman. And he says he can't go any further because they can't mix.
The help can't mingle with the guests,
which is stupid. And then the sister and January Jones sees them together and gets him fired. And I was just like, what's the purpose of that? Like, why does it matter? Is it because she likes this other kid and that kid liked her? Is that what the problem is?
That and January definitely thought she was prettier when she saw her in that red dress.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, she had everything out on display.
I mean, when you're on the island, man.
I actually think it looked better with the black cardigan. Maybe if I saw the black cardigan unbuttoned, or if it was unbuttoned just a little bit more, I might have liked that as well. But it's her hair that was bothering me. So with the cardigan, it didn't bother me as much. But then all of a sudden you have all the skin showing, and then you see her hair, and all I could focus on was her hair looked like a rat's nest, and it was driving me bananas.
Things could have been better with her hair.
Yeah, she had a lot of bad hair.
And it wasn't her fault.
No.
It was a stylist.
Like, I wonder if they were trying to give it that, like, humidity look to it.
I feel like her hair would have looked better if they had layered it.
Yeah.
Because it was, with it all at one level, the way they were styling it, it just didn't work. So if they had layered it, that way it would fall more naturally, I think.
Yeah.
So,
like, as she relaxed through the movie, her hairstyles got better, but there was still a lot of times where I was like, girl, that looks terrible. I know it's not her fault, but because it's on her, I can only blame her. But I was just like, all the time, I was like, God, your hair looks like a goddamn rat's nest, and it's driving me crazy. Let's see here. So I liked that she slapped Jonathan, but then her mom slapped her in the very same way. I was like, damn, that's where she got it from. And for some reason in my head, so they sign up for a dance contest, and, her and Javier, and he's going to teach her Latin, and she's going to teach him ballroom. And they're going to do like a mixture, which I don't really ever think they do like a good mixture. I think they end up doing like the rumba. Because their final dance that we see is basically the same dance as, or the merengue. It's basically the same dance as Johnny and Baby and the original Dirty Dancing that they do at their last dance. It has a very specific name, but I cannot think of what it's called.
I don't know. For
someone who has watched that movie more than any other movie I've ever seen in my life, you would think I would know it, but I don't. But yeah, when I saw it, I haven't seen this movie that much. But for some reason, I thought that the mom liked the dancing. And she does end up liking it. But when she's watching them do it, for some reason, I thought she was like the mom in the original Dirty Dancing, that she's like, she gets it from me. But she did not appreciate the dancing until the next day when she had time to think about it. And she tells her daughter, she's like, me and your father talked. And we think you should do a double. And she's just like, oh, you're okay with the dancing? And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what part sticks out to you most?
I remember the most vivid part in my mind about this movie was when her mom starts brushing her hair. The way I remember it is that the mom is mad at the daughter and she takes the comb from her hand and starts brushing her hair very aggressively. That's how I remember it. And she's mad at her because she was dancing with Diego or Javier, right? And then when I see it, it's like, oh, that's not how it happened.
No, she's actually more gentle than the daughter is.
But I still hate that comb. Like,
that is an odd choice.
Like, I was just like, why are you using that comb? I don't understand.
I don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird choice for thick, wet hair.
Yeah.
A tiny baby comb.
Mm-hmm.
A wide tooth comb? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that's weird choice.
And I don't remember the sister from the original movie, the little sister, but she's so annoying. I hate her.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
She's not likable.
Mm-mm.
Like, least with the sister in the original Dirty Dancing, they don't really get along. And Baby, I think, is actually the younger sister of the two. But her older sister just thinks about herself, and she's very like a narcissist and is kind of just in her own little world.
I guess in that sense, given that this sister is younger, she's like, what, 14 to 15?
Yeah.
I can see her being obnoxious. That's the way of a teenage girl, especially in a new place where, you know, she's limited on friends. She doesn't really have a choice in friends. No. Like, this is who you hang out with or you don't hang out with anyone, basically.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like she was happy to be going to Cuba. A lot of this movie, which is weird because it was done 20 years ago. I feel like modern day shows and movies, we've talked about this, where you can barely hear the dialogue. The background noise is so loud and the music is so loud that it's really hard to hear. I just think they were very soft-spoken people in this movie. But at the very beginning, when she's like giving us their background and why they're there, it is so hard to hear what she says about everybody. So I don't exactly remember what she says about her sister, but I'm pretty sure she said that she was excited to be there.
Yeah.
I would be pissed if I was her and it was my senior year and
why can't you move in with grandma?
Right? Why do you have to go? That's ridiculous. Why did everybody have to go? Like, you know, the mom and sister could have just stayed at home.
Well, I'm sure they sold us like this is family friendly. Like, and if you look at it,
a war-torn country.
Well, they weren't war-torn. No, but you know, there was, you know,
the revolution.
I think the revolution was more like underground, you know, like it did not seem unsafe, you know?
Okay, where their resort was not unsafe, but like just walking the streets.
It didn't seem unsafe to me.
Well, those people were just playing music and they all of a sudden were getting arrested. Like, it seemed more...
When? At the end?
No. At the beginning. You know, when she's walking, when she doesn't have her book bag and her mom's like, where's your book bag? She stayed too late at school. And Javier was there and was walking her home. And they are standing on the corner watching the people play music. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the police come and just start taking people down.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, it was just... And she goes... All they were doing was playing music. And he says, it's not just playing music here in Cuba. Like, you can get in trouble for anything.
They were on the list.
I guess, maybe.
Just arrest them all and we'll sort them down at the jailhouse.
We'll sort it out later. I liked their school uniforms. I thought as school uniforms go, thought they were pretty cute.
It's interesting. Like, I know in Latin America, there's a lot of, uniforms.
Uh-huh.
But I never thought about what a uniform, like I'm so used to like right now uniforms that are very pretty plain, like a t-shirt, a polo shirt, or a button up, and just slacks. Like it's not Hogwarts, like super formal, it's just, we're all going to be dressed kind of like in a standard basic uniform. So I never thought to see like a pink dress uniform. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way to break that down. Like, think about it right now, like a girl's uniform, like even a Hogwarts uniform, like it's a skirt. You could cover it up with the jacket or something. It won't look so uniformy unless you wear the jacket,
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like you can go to an after school function and not look like you are in your school uniform.
Yeah.
Kind of. But this pink dress, there's no getting around that. Unless it's wintertime and you're wearing a full coat, Like everyone's going to know.
Well, it was wintertime. It just wasn't cold there.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah, it was
they
like
were in
November,
the Caribbean,
December.
man.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was like, oh, it's cute. It's checkerboard pattern. They have their cute little shoes.
Oh, yeah. I did like how the shoes matched.
Yeah, the saddle shoes. I've always been a big fan of saddle shoes. I had a couple pairs of my own. I know I had a red and white pair. I've made a couple pairs. That black pair that has the white and the black down at the bottom. I made that pair. I want to say I had a pair of blue and white ones as well. I'm a fan of the saddle shoe.
Okay.
A little bit about me. I'm a fan of the saddle shoe. Let's see here. Oh, so we have, we find out it's $300 for winning the semis, and it's $5,000 for winning the whole competition.
And a trip to America.
Yeah. Now, how do they know they didn't win? I mean, technically, they didn't get to finish. So why do they keep saying they didn't win the next day? They don't know. They weren't there. Couldn't they just do the contest again? Like,
maybe it got canceled or whatever.
Maybe. Maybe they found out his brother was the one who had the gun, and it was him and his hooligan friends that were going to do something. But
yeah, I still don't understand what they were going to do at the hotel.
I don't know.
Like, was one of the judges like part of the government? Like what point are they trying to like they need to pick their targets better.
Yeah.
Like who was at this charity or what was it? Like ballroom contest that was affiliated with the government? Because if they're not affiliated with the government, then what's the point you're making?
Yeah.
You're hurting civilians.
Exactly.
That's
what he was saying. He was telling his brother he was stupid. He was like, yeah, someone killed our father and you were going to kill somebody else's for no reason.
Exactly. Like, I mean, if you wanted to sacrifice civilians to make a point, that's one thing. But if you're trying to make a difference or like, prove a point, then you don't attack civilians. Yeah. Everyone knows that.
Yeah. Stupid. And you could have just waited one more day.
Yeah.
Because the revolution started the next day.
Pretty much.
So we have another famous water scene, not as good as the original, obviously. But this is when we find out she really does not have rhythm in her hips. She's very static and like she has a pole in the center of her body and she just can't like move her hips, which is sad. But hey, I kind of feel like that should be a prerequisite for being a dancer in a movie. But, that's just me.
You have to also take into consideration they probably want somebody who is famous.
What's she famous?
I don't know, but they also need somebody who will do the job for the paycheck they're paying.
That's true. Like I was telling my sister while we were watching this, if this was done in the early 90s, it totally would have been like a Gwyneth. Because that girl was like reeking of Gwyneth Paltrow like vibes.
Ugh, I can't see her doing this movie.
No, but I'm just saying, like in the early 90s, that looked like a part she would have done.
No.
Before she became like super famous.
No, she would not have done a dancing movie.
I could just see like that's the vibe this girl was giving off, was like Gwyneth Paltrow type person. She had like she was tall, she's very slender, like the good girl next door vibe. Just, I don't know. That's the vibe I got. But then I thought if she was younger, Brittany Murphy would have been a very good person for this part too.
No.
No?
I don't feel it.
Oh, I do. Mm-mm. Like the doe eyes and the innocence and the...
No.
But she's not, like... She dances, but I don't think she's a good dancer.
She did well enough.
No, I was talking about Brittany Murphy.
Oh. Like, I never really cared for her.
Oh, not a fan?
No.
Oh.
Like, I don't dislike her, but I'm indifferent to her. Oh. I wouldn't purposefully put her into anything. I wouldn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not a fan. Who do you think would do this part now?
I don't look at those types of things. Oh. I accept facts as they remain. I don't recast.
I always thought that Diego, I didn't know who he was, and I didn't know the name of the kid in the movie, but I thought he was the kid from Hook. And I was like, I didn't know he was Spanish. The whole time in the movie theater, this is 2004. I can't just look it up on my phone. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there in the movie theater. I'm like, wow, that's the kid from Hook? He grew up and he's Spanish? And I was just so confused.
You mean Rufio?
No.
Which kid?
The son that gets taken.
Oh, him?
Like
seriously?
Okay, I will show you his picture. He does kind of look like him as a young kid. And I just was like, what? How did I not know this kid was Hispanic or Spanish and I was very confused the whole time during the movie. I was like, that is a very interesting choice. And then I found out later that nope, that is not him.
Jack?
Yeah.
Charlie Corsmo?
Yeah, like this kid.
Oh my God.
I just thought it was him. And so I was so confused. I was like, well, all right. Good for him. I didn't know he was.
Man, I love Rufio though. Rufio.
That is true.
Rufio.
We've not done that movie. We should do that movie.
Oh my God, yes. I saw a TikTok about like how Rufio was like your first crush, and I was like, oh my God, yes, he was so cute. I loved him.
Rufio. The other day I was saying, I've lost my marbles. Let's see here. Oh, Maya was in this movie. I forgot that until she came upon our screen. And I was like, hey.
Like, I saw her name, but I just thought it was a coincidence.
Yeah.
And then I saw her, I was like, oh my God, it is Maya.
I forgot that they kind of took music from nowadays and like put it in this movie. Because we kept hearing the Shakira.
But it wasn't the Shakira version.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, baby, when you talk like that.
Do you think it was Maya?
Oh.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Where's the soundtrack on this, baby?
But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot she's in this movie. Um, and
It
let's see.
features Claudette Ortiz.
Oh, I don't know who that is, but good job, Colette.
Mm-hmm.
So while they're dancing in the middle of the floor of everybody dancing, they kiss. And we're like, oh,
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember that.
I forgot that part.
Yes. And then they continue kissing. And it's
Yes.
like, so at first, when they're all watching them dance, the parents are like in shock, but they're like, wow, they're doing really good.
Yeah.
Of course, the sister's really psyched. Even the fake boyfriend, he's like, oh, she's got some moves. And his parents were like, oh my God, that cheating whore is cheating on our son, because they don't know, right?
Yeah.
And then when they kiss, everything changes for everybody.
All the looks on their faces were so different. The sister was like, yay!
And the parents were like, what? Even the fake boyfriend was like, I think they took that too far.
I guess we're not dating anymore.
And then the parents are like, that hussy.
Well, when you're doing ballroom, it's very strict. You have a lot of rules.
But this isn't ballroom.
But, in 1940, when they were probably doing all this stuff,
I thought it was 50s.
Well, this is 58, but 18 years before that, they were.
Oh, yeah. When the parents, they're not used to the scandal.
They have a lot of strict rules for ballroom, and, you have to be a certain way, you have to dress a certain way, and all of that stuff. And there's no kissing on the dance floor. You don't kiss.
Yeah, but sometimes
competition.
You just got to feel it and go with the with the moment.
Well, that's what Latin music is really good for, because you just kind of go with the flow, go with the music.
Yes.
And they did.
I mean, I got them to the final round, but nobody won. I think the organizers kept the money.
Probably.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't want to give anybody a trip to the United States. So we saw the arm tingle. That's the only thing I can think to call it, is when the arm is up and he rubs his hand down the arm and then across the body and grabs her other arm. That is a move from the original Dirty Dancing, and it is in this movie. And I was like, the arm tingle, or whatever they call it. And that's when we're like, oh, hey, this whole entire dance looks like the dance from the original. It didn't look like that on their first dance, so I don't know if they changed it in between dances. But there was a lot of back and forth between watching the parents, so maybe we missed it. But I don't remember all of that.
I guess, okay, so out of all of their dancing, which was your favorite dance of theirs?
I'd have to say the semifinals.
My favorite dance of theirs was actually when they're dancing in front of the projector and you see the screen. Like
saucy.
You see them and you see their shadow, and it just, the visual looks so good. I love that. And it really shows, like, I guess maybe because you can't see them so vividly, that the silhouettes look much more risque.
That is true. They were dirty dancing.
Yeah, like I really, really felt it when they were doing that.
Yeah.
And then I love how they're rehearsing like in the chop shop, and then like everybody shows up and they're like, oh yeah, we saw you. Good job, twinkle toes or whatever.
Yeah. You always got to be aware of who's coming in your chop shop.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't really have anything else for this.
I think what's interesting at the end is that even though Javier wants change, he's not actively, one of those revolutionary people that are out there fighting for it. But his brother is. It seems he's a lot more deeper now that the gun shows up at the end.
Yeah.
At first it seemed more like he's a talker, he's a protester, but he's a man of action. Anywho, at the end, they do overthrow, I think it was Bautista, I think they said. And now Fidel Castro has come into power. And at the end, there's a thing where, Katie's like, hey, if I help you, do you want to come to America and we send for your family afterwards? And he's like, but this is what we've been fighting for the change.
Yeah.
Things are going to be better now. And it's just, it's really sad. You know,
Yeah.
it's really sad. Like they break up, but they both ended as in, you know, this was a summer fling or a winter fling. And we're going to both move on to bigger, better things. And we're going to have a great life. And we're going to always remember this time together.
Yeah.
And I feel that they're both going to be filled with regret.
Yeah.
Him for not leaving with her and her for not fighting to bring him. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a world in which she got pregnant and has a little Javier baby inside of her. Just saying.
We had to look up when condoms were readily available because we were like, okay, I know the pill was probably around this time, but condoms, because like, you know, pills you have to be prepared for. Like, you know, I'm going to be sexually active. There's a possibility I need to get a prescription and be on this on the daily. Whereas condoms, you can just have one laying around for like, 2 years before you need to replace it.
Right. Like, you know, they both should have known something was going to go down.
I mean, the feelings were getting heavier and heavier.
Yep. Well, what's really weird is that after I'd already said, that she's pregnant, she said that she's going to take a piece with him, of him with her, and he has a piece of her with him. And I was like, I bet you do, because you got pregnant. You know, that's how.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to ruin it. They don't have to get pregnant. Not every, you know, encounter results in a child.
That's what a lot of 18-year-olds think. And then it does. Just saying.
But yeah. So I am happy that they ended on a good note. You know, that this is what it is. We had our moment. I wish you good luck and adieu.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like, you know, I mean, who knows? Maybe he enters the government and becomes corrupt and he has a great life, you know, and he's not still poor or something.
I mean, it is a commendable choice because normally the easier choice was to get them together. It's very rare that they don't do that. So that is an interesting way to go about it.
I feel it's also more realistic.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. You've really only known this person for a few weeks, literally a few weeks. And now you have to leave the country. Like, no matter how kind her parents are, and if they've turned their leaf and they've like, okay, we can't be snooty. Are you really going to invite this, 19, 20-year-old guy to come live with you?
Yeah.
You know, like he is a stranger still.
Like, there's a world in which watching the original Dirty Dancing and then you see this blonde and she's like, well, honey, I can tell you this. I was in a relationship very similar to this and I let him go. So, do with that what you will.
Yep.
And then you see a toddler toddling behind her.
Oh my God, Sarah. No, but I definitely feel like even though they ended well, there's regret on both ends.
Yeah.
Like 2010, gosh, how long did it take before it got bad? Oh, if this happened in the 50s and the 60s during the Kennedy years because of the Cuba Missile Crisis thing.
Yeah.
So it didn't take long at all.
No, this was 58.
50. Oh, yeah. No, like 4 years, 5 years before it got bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that was short lived. Oh, I feel really bad for them. They literally, as a country, they really only had a few years, 18, 24 months of like, we're going to have real change and stuff. And
then power goes to people's heads.
Yep.
All right, April. So if you had to rate this movie, what would you rate it?
Given that I've only seen this movie once before this time, and I hadn't felt inclined to watch it again, now to see it anticipate seeing it a third time, I would probably give it a 5. It's like in the middle. Like, yeah, I'll watch it again in another 20 years, but I'm not going to go out and seek it.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 mom slaps. I enjoyed it. I think there's a lot of good parts in it. It's not my favorite Dirty Dancing movie. But I did enjoy it. I think we had fun.
So now that another 20 years has passed, if they make another Dirty Dancing, what should they call it?
Ooh.
Viva Brazil. Oh, the Lambada Dirty Dancing. Dirty Dancing, the Lambada. And it takes place in Brazil.
Dirty Dancing.
Spain, the tango. Tango tu amor.
Dirty Dancing Paris Lights.
What do they do?
I don't know.
What do they do?
I don't know.
I've got the tango and the lambada. I can't think of anything else.
Chile.
River dancing?
Dirty Dancing Chile.
The river dance. But I feel like, hey, if we're going to do this every 20 years, then they need to get to it. Yeah. They need to step up.
Step up. Oh, we need another Step Up movie.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
they all run in together for me. Like I remember stuff, but I can't tell you what happened when.
The first and the second are the only two that I know for sure what happens. After that,
I really remember the one, I think it's the third one, where they're in Miami or something. Yeah, they're dancing, it's very beachy and they're dancing in the streets.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Oh, and then the one where they're in the club, remember that terrible factory club where they have those elevators that are those big giant elevators?
Oh.
Maybe that was 6 or 7, who knows?
I don't remember that.
Yeah. They all just run in together.
They do. We're going to have a marathon.
It won't help. It won't help if we watch them back to back. We still won't remember what happened when.
We'll have to have a Step Up year month.
A year in review.
All right, guys. Well, if you want us to watch Step Up or any other dance movie, let a girl know. Mm-hmm. You can talk to us at all of our platforms at Two Chicks Talkin Flicks.
Yep.
And until next time,
toodles.
Bye. This episode was produced by Two Chicks Talkin Flicks. Music was produced by Michael Giovanni. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to be a part of the show, have a movie suggestion, or just want to give us some love, you can email us at twochickstalkinflicks@gmail.com. Thanks, guys. Toodles.